Okay, fine. Here we go. So Mr. E.N. staying at L of 50 years old male who is blooming, almost florid complexion, usually cheerful, but during his more violent paroxysms inclined to outbreaks of anger with decided nervous excitement. Since few months suffered with a peculiar kind of violent pain in right leg after the previous dispersion allopathically of a so-called rheumatic pain in the right orbit by external remedies which could not be found out. This last pain attacked the muscles of the posterior part of the leg, especially from calf down to heel, but did not involve the knee or ankle joint. The pain itself he described as extremely acute, cramping, jerking, tearing, frequently interrupted by stitches extending from within outward. In the morning hours, when the pain was generally more endurable, it was dull, burrowing with a bruised feeling. The pain became worse towards evening and during rest, especially after previous motion, while sitting and standing, particularly if he did it during a walk in open air. While walking, the pain often jumped suddenly from the right calf into the left upper part if he put his hand into his coat pocket or his breast and kept the arm quiet. But it was relieved while moving the arm, and then the pain suddenly jumped back again into right calf. The greatest relief was experienced while walking up and down the room and rubbing the affected part. He has concomitant symptoms of sleeplessness before midnight, frequently recurring attacks in evening of sudden flushes of heat with thirst without previous chill, a disagreeable fatty taste in the mouth with nausea in the throat, and almost constant pressing pain in lower part of the chest and pit of the stomach as if something were forcing itself outward. So this is the case. What do you have to say about this case? Hello? Nothing to remember, no remedy. That is what we are going to discuss. What is important is this case, when it has been presented to, it is all in one paragraph, which I have splitted with putting bullets in it, so as to have little more visual impact. And I have not changed any word, even not a comma. Hello, are you there? आपने केस सुना?
Yes, sir.
ओके, सुनने के बाद what was the impact? क्या असर हुआ? ओके, कुछ असर नहीं हुआ. हेलो, कुछ भी असर हुआ?
The symptoms were striking and peculiar.
Hmm.
Even there is a shifting pains, which is aggravated by rest and better by motion. And he has peculiar pains.
Yeah, see, so symptoms are many. Description is there. Now, what is important is how the picture has been made complete.
Yes.
How there is a synchronicity, as Dr. Manali has wrote in the chat box. ये समझ में आया? There are so many symptoms, but the symptoms are connected with each other. Just see, I'll share it again. What is the first part? What is the first part we see here? The first part consists of what?
Age and gender.
And
His personality.
is it all about his personality or there is something else? Very good, personality. Now let us go next at the next level. What is given here? What was he? He was blooming, almost florid complexion and usually cheerful. But during his more violent paroxysm inclined to outbreaks of anger with decided nervous excitement. So what is it? There is a deviation, isn't it?
Yes.
So what was the patient and now what is became out of him since the time he is not well. So the foremost thing what we have to understand is what is the disposition of the person and what is the deviation in the person. Are you all writing this? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
How do we make totality? Totality is connection of all the symptoms as far as possible. You have to understand the wholesomeness of the suffering. It is not the point of hierarchy only. So initially we understand whom are we going to treat. So we are going to treat a 50-year-old male patient staying at so-and-so place who was usually having a blooming, almost florid complexion and who used to be usually cheerful, but now is inclined to outbreak of anger. So the first part that comes is the disposition and deviation. ठीक है? Since few months, suffered with a peculiar kind of violent pain in right leg after the previous dispersion allopathically, means treatment, of a so-called rheumatic pain in the right orbit by external remedies which could not be found out. So what is this paragraph about?
Original unqualified lecture.
Voice is not clear. Please repeat again.
So there is a suppression.
There is likely to be suppression. So here, what the physician is putting across,
His origin of the
origin. So he talked about deviation. What is the deviation? And now he's talking about the origin of the deviation, that how deviation has taken place and what has happened during that time of deviation. What are the circumstances? Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So here he again begins morbid phenomenon. So here it is not currently only these episodes or the attacks of the pain making him violently angry, but he is also telling what might have led to this state. So that is what is related with possession, which you are attributing to suppression, whereby the process, morbid phenomenon, the process seems to be rheumatic. Do you find it interesting?
yes.
सच्ची में बोलो सब लोग, क्योंकि we don't have much time now. एक केस था उसमें हमने दूसरा एक शुरू कर दिया.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So now what he is talking about, the present. So he talked about origin and now he's talking about the present. This last pain, are you putting everything on the paper?
Yes, sir.
Cohesion and deviation
Origin.
and change in the personality and the origin and what was the circumstance and what seems to be the process and the possession, morbid phenomenon till the present situation. This last pain attack, the muscles of the posterior part of the leg, whatever. So now then what goes in is all his description of the pain with modality, with location, with sensation. बराबर है? देखो ये सब वही है ना? With minor details. And concomitant symptoms are not left out. All the concomitant symptoms, whichever are related with the condition, along with the condition, and affecting the patient in general. Are you getting the point? He has connected the disposition with the causation, with the origin, with the morbid phenomenon, with its exact description, along with the precise location, sensation, and modality. And to the extent, see, he says, that did not involve the knee or ankle joint, the last line. He is emphasizing this is the muscular the problem, Nothing to do with the joints. How much precision is there in the description? As if you are seeing the patient, as if everything is right in front of you and you are experiencing the patient's problem to the extent that the full total description of the pain, that along with the time, that morning is dull pain and then evening is so kind of pain which makes patient to move, and if patient stops, what happen, and patient it is forcing patient to rest his arm. As soon as the arm is rested, pain comes up and makes that patient has to walk or move the arm. And the kind of the pain, extremely acute, cramping, jerking, tearing, frequently interrupted by stitches extending from within outward with the direction. This was case narrated by Dr. Boning Hussain. The first part was quiz, change in the personality. Who is suffering? Then the second part is quid, peculiarity of the disease. With the precision in UB, where. Then given curve, the cause, probable cause is so and so. Along with Qumodo and Quondo, time and modalities. Lastly, he has put across Cubus auxilius, concomitant. Now, if you see evaluation of this case, then evaluation wise, what will come first? Concomitant disposition, isn't it? Hello? What will come first in the hierarchy? Why concomitant? Hello, Kinjal. Ayushi, come on. Hello. I'm not able to listen anybody.
Sir, everybody has written in the chat box.
Sorry.
Sir, people have written in the chat box.
Oh, I have to then stop sharing to. Thank you very much. So I have to expand this. Yeah, change disposition and concomitants will come higher up. Why?
They are individual specific.
Because concomitants are not pathological, but it is coming from the patient. So whatever is not pathognomic, we value higher. And disposition talks about the tendency on which entire picture is evolving. So though they are in the hierarchy higher up, in the description concomitant may come at the end, no problem. Whereas disposition is coming in the beginning to describe the patient. But the sole thing that we understand here, that he has connected every bit of the data of the case in the manner that it is representing the suffering of the patient, the severity of the pain, the description of the pain, the way the pain is happening, and everything is happening in a particular type of the patient with such concomitant. Hello. I just
Yes, sir.
demonstrated you. I just demonstrated you. What is totality? Is this clear to people? Totality is not paragraph. Totality is compilation. It is a combination of the symptoms so that it gives the complete aspect of the suffering of the patient, taking into account all the essence of the disease, which gives idea about the internal derangement of the vital force. So here the vital force is deranged, imbalanced, and the process which is going on is probably a rheumatic kind. So when we say it is a rheumatic kind, so we try to understand the kind of the process. Is it autoimmune process, or it is a gout, metabolic process, or it is a inflammatory process, or it is infective process. We don't know. There are all these possibilities. ये टोटलिटी का एस्पेक्ट समझ में आया जो हम लास्ट टाइम डिस्कस करते थे. One is totally analytical process where analysis of symptom and evaluation of the symptoms are happening, and totality of the symptom is totally a synthetic process where we are bringing all the characteristic aspects of the case, connect them in the manner so that we can visualize or experience the suffering of the patient the way patient is passing through. Because there are dots. How you connect dots, that will make the picture. I usually give example, very simple example. If there are 4 words, 4 letters, sorry, not words, 4 letters, R, P, E, A, 4 letters. So now arrange them to give a word. R, P, E, A. Write in the chat box how many words can be made.
Reap.
Reap, pair.
Pair.
Yeah, very good. Then, you know, you have to take all 4 together. Ear is part of that. R is part of that. Okay. What else? You have to take rape. So, pair, reap, rape. Or ape. So, is peer is same as rape, is same as reap? Letters are same. Symptoms are same. Now, the moment you change the arrangement, obviously meaning changes. Are you with me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So when meaning changes, everything is now different. So when you say that Boni Hussain has told us to make arrangement in a particular manner, Kant has told us to make in a particular manner, and Boger in a particular manner, you change the arrangement. And it may come out with a different meaning, isn't it? So how you are connecting the symptoms, that pattern of connection, that pattern we have to see in the remedy. Yes, definitely in aphorism number 153, that artificial disease has to match with the natural disease. In the same manner, curative power has to match with the disease to be treated without any alteration. तो अभी अपना केस पे करते हैं. हेलो, चलो, you know the data. हम डिस्पोजिशन सब एक साथ में लेते हैं, डिविएशन लेते हैं, पोजीशन है तो वो लेते हैं. करते हैं क्या? हेलो, we are almost about to complete 1 hour. 50 minutes are over. So do you find this 50 minutes work, whether it has served its purpose? Because you wanted to know the process. You wanted to know how to go about it. So now apply to this case. You can pen down on your paper, write down in whom, then how, then what, and then what else. 4 सवाल समझे? हेलो. First is
Whom?
whom. Second is
How?
how. Third is
What?
what. And fourth is
What else?
what else. In that, in how, what it also includes why. How and why. Whom will give us the disposition. Why will give us possession. How will give us morbid phenomenon. Then what will give us the peculiarity. And at the end, peculiarity also हाँ माँ बोलो. Have you done that now? Peculiarity of the disease will include UB also, Kumodo, Kyondo, and the detailing. So Kinjal or Ayushi, will you like to share this? Please share your thought process and what you have gathered. पहले खाली ये 4 पार्ट हम बोलेंगे. नीरू भाई, welcome. We just discussed citing Dr. Bonimusen's case, how he has created the totality, and that we are applying to this case. And I hope and I'm sure this 30 minutes will be very meaningful to us.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So Ayushi, Kinjal, just tell these 4 things. Who, how and why, what and what else. चलो 4 चीज करो जल्दी.
Sir, I'll read out the totality which I have written down, which almost covers all these questions.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes, sir. So, a 36-year-old obese female patient diagnosed of having tinea with severe uncontrolled diabetes, having who easily gets hurt and has a tendency to anger and has aversion to consolation and wants to be alone. She has severe hammering type of headache, which is aggravated by pressure and ameliorated by tight bandaging. And following are the dispositional features, which has menses staining, tendency to catch cold in a hot patient, desire for salt and dislike for sweets and thirstness.
Kinjal, excellent. You have made a very good attempt. थोड़ा माइल्ड चेंजेस हम कर सकते बस.
Yes.
आपने कहा पेशेंट डायग्नोस्ड विथ रिंगवर्म विथ डायबिटीज मेलाइटस. थोड़ा डायबिटीज का आगे ले लेते तो रिंगवर्म का वैल्यू बढ़ जाता है. देखो 36-year-old obese patient, obese diabetic patient, female patient having uncontrolled ringworm since so long. बराबर है?
Yes.
Which is having ringworm, which is having following characteristics. So write down characteristics 1, 2, 3, 4. Characteristics are what? Aggravated when heated, aggravation, perspiration, better by cold application. This complaint is disturbing her profession, which involves catering. Barabar? Which involves usually cooking and catering. Now dispositional features आपने नीचे लिखा है बहुत अच्छे से, अच्छी बात है. आप उसको ऊपर भी लेना चाहते हो तो ले सकते हो. पूरा डिस्क्रिप्शन आपने दिया है. We can give patient who can get offended very easily, especially when she is criticized, this patient को गुस्सा कब आता है? When she is judged and she said that you are nothing. She is not given her value. She is considered as if she is nothing. Right? So she gets easily offended and hurt, especially when she is judged that she is nothing. In anger, this amounts to anger, and in anger, she usually withdraws. She doesn't prefer to talk. She dislikes people, doesn't like to interact to the extent that consolation aggravates. In such patient, this problem is occurring. Who is having this particular disposition? So this disposition and mind help us to understand what quality of the patient. Process बोले थे ना Dr. Boning Hussain. This seems to be rheumatic. हमारा case, it seems to be what? हमारा लास्ट टाइम तो वही सवाल था ना कि माइंड और बॉडी ये तो एन्यूमरेट नहीं करना है, हमें तो कनेक्ट करना है क्योंकि टोटल बनाना है ना. Mind is what? Hypersensitive mind. Hello.
Yes, sir.
ये वर्कशॉप है, हमें इंटरेक्ट करना है, प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं करना है खाली. Presentation is part of the workshop. Workshop and you do it and we do it together. It is learning by doing. I am doing, you also do. We interact what we have done together and then we get out of it with something better. I suggested you yesterday also on Saturday that okay, you want name of remedy, I give you the remedy, or you want the process. So on your demand, we are going into the process. Now you tell. Kinjal has given beautiful picture, good attempt. Now we have to connect the data with the link. So I am putting across that this patient is hypersensitive. What is your view about it?
Yes, sir.
Patient is hypersensitive. Mentally? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
And what about patient's hypersensitivity about the body?
Sensitive to cold, yes.
At the say very sensitive to what? Bolo? Sensitive to body wise, sensitive to
Cold.
sensitive to heat.
Sorry, heat.
Sensitive to heat, which is maintaining the current situation. Sensitive to tendency to have catching cold. So sensitive to cold, change of weather, getting wet in rain. So common हुआ ना, mind and body hypersensitivity.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
तो connect हुआ कि नहीं दोनों? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hero
Yes, sir.
bhai.
Yes, yes.
Sir, I am little not able to get agree with this because this is like ગુજરાતીમાં કે મારી મચોડીને ભેગું થઈ ગયું. because the sensitivity and hypersensitivity has a little difference. The sensitive to cold or sensitive to heat, that is one thing. But when we are making a generalization as a hypersensitive, it has a little more different meaning altogether.
Okay, so let us go into its meaning. What is the meaning, Nirubai?
So the sensitivity is the ability to receive the things, and hypersensitivity is adversely receiving the thing. So ability to receive, that is sensitive.
No, hypersensitive or hyposensitive, both are adversely receiving this.
Yes, yes.
Both, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, in this case, patient is having the physiological normal sensitivity, or patient is having morbid sensitivity, which would fall into hyper or hypo.
Barabar, sir, barabar. So here, if the catching cold, sensitive, catch cold easily. So it is an exposure of cold, and she has the ability to receive it. That is one thing. Now, heat, aggravation from warm. So that is also a common features for this tinea. And we have analyzed these symptoms in consideration of it. So it is a kind of a sensitive.
Just wait. Sensitivity to heat, is it common for tinea? Sorinum is a remedy for tinea. Silicia is a remedy for tinea. Whereas selenium, mercury is also, sulfur is also.
So I think from the remedy point of view, we cannot make it as a common, but the tinea as a disease process, the heat is a very common.
Exactly, I am telling you that the way it is applicable to the remedy is the sensitivity of different brewers. That remedy has a capacity to alter sensitivity in certain brewers who have that particular disposition. So every brewer gives a different picture of the remedy, same remedy. It depends upon how the brewer is amenable. Now, if we say that tonsillitis has to be better by warm, but we know certain tonsillitis is better by cold also. In the textbook
True, sir. In that sense, it is characteristic. If it is better by cold,
warm is characteristic or better by cold is characteristic?
better by cold is characteristic.
Oh, that is what exactly I am telling, because we all used to take into account the statistical norm. Statistical norm is for the medicine, subject of medicine, because they are studying epidemiologically and they are erecting the picture from all the possible data, whereby they say commonly the disease has so and so picture, but there are also some patients who may have this symptom, or it may have this symptom also. So that is also collection from all the patients who have suffered from COVID, how the picture was evolved. in most of the patients, there is a loss of taste and the smell. But however, it may not affect in some of the patients at all. So for them, it doesn't make much of a difference as far as their therapy is concerned. But when our patient has tonsillitis better by warm, is one group which is different from the other group which is better by cold. Now, if there are so many remedies, majority of the remedies which are better by cold are better by warm, then better by warm is common in all those remedies, and we cannot decide a remedy because of that particular modality. But that modality has definitely helped us to differentiate two groups, better by cold and better by warm. So it was characteristic till that time, but now it has become general, a common in this, and it cannot help you to decide remedy further. So you go ahead that, okay, with stitching pain. So this stitching pain is giving a further mileage to differentiate the remedy. But it will have general or common feature after certain movement. So that is how we have to see what is to be treated in the patient. In the patient, this is to be treated. That patient gets aggravation when being heated for ringworm. So which remedy has a capacity to treat ringworm which is worse by heated, not better by, not worse by the cold as far as ringworm is concerned.
So I totally agree with this symptoms concept. But when we are trying to make a generalization as a hypersensitivity
No, we are
as a
not making
person,
generalization. I'm again coming back to that. Your point is absolutely necessary and very valid, because that is the mistake we are making. What mistake we make, we generalize it and we leave it. And moment you generalize it, it becomes vague, undefined symptom. It is a general, that is common symptom. So whenever you are generalizing, don't forget to specify with its details. That is what I did. I said, I'm just helping group to derive the link. Now, once you establish the link, then now you add the characteristics of the affections. It is not the summation of the symptoms. It is not enumeration of the symptoms. It is a linking, the combination of symptoms. That in a hypersensitive patient, at the level of mind and physique, characterized by mind worse, mind gets affected easily, offended easily when her ego is hurt by not considering her value, or she is judged. She is short-tempered, whereby the further description will come up, whereby she secludes herself, doesn't like to meet people or having any conversation, to the extent that even sympathy aggravates her. So you have to differentiate, never ever abbreviate symptom. I always tell, isn't it Kinjal, Ayushi, this is very important, never abbreviate symptom. You are evolving. મારી મછલી નથી કરવાનું, નીરોભાઈ. You are evolving based on the facts. And when you are evolving and establishing the connection, that in such kind of sensitive person, where the sensitivity of this kind, individualistic aspect, sensitivity of the body of this kind against individualist aspect. That is what we just did before you joined, citing the Boningussen's case. That probably this patient is having a rheumatic problem, but rheumatic problem of this kind, not rheumatic problem of a Boyacum type, not a rheumatic problem of a Rushtox type, not a rheumatic problem of a Pyonia type, but rheumatic problem of this type. I said name of the drugs because you know the characteristics or the specificity of Rushtox, Pyonia or Boyacum. What Guru has to say now? Nirubai, does it give you the answer of the question that you raised, or it is still?
Yes, sir, I understood your point of view, but I think I will need some time to understand this aspect.
There are two aspects, Nirubai. That is the usual point in our learning that comes up. One is understanding, and second is accepting. If there is any confusion at the level of the clarity, we can discuss about it. But nobody can force me to accept something, and I can't force you to accept. And I should not do because it is an open session. It is not my kind of homeopathy. Best thing is we take up case of Dr. Henneman of Brownie and Pulsarilla. In 1815, when he treated the case, then what we discussed about value of disposition, value of evolution, value of characteristics of, and value of what else is happening together. All these things he has put down beautifully in these two cases, though it is narrated 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you remove the numbers, because here in this case also what I narrated, I had put bullets. So remove the numbers, then you see the collective picture. It is not enumeration. It is the total description stating the patient's suffering.
Okay, sir, I agree.
So should we take Henneman's example now? So I'll open that slide if I have. Or we stick to this patient.
So I think we should have stick to this patient and
Very good.
finish it
Okay.
off.
Okay, so now if you understood the totality and we have understood individually and collectively this particular patient, it means individualistic aspect we have taken and holistic aspect also we have taken up. So now we proceed further. So from breaking analytical aspect, we went to the synthetic aspect. From analytical aspect, we broke it. Now we are connecting synthetic aspect. Now again we break it. For analytical aspect, for repertorization. And we get group of the drugs. We again go for the synthesis. to correlate these drugs, artificial disease, with the natural disease and see which one is fitting. That is what is the process. Analysis, synthesis, analysis, synthesis. तो rubrics लेंगे क्या हम? Convert symptom to rubric. And what will guide us for selecting the rubric? Our evaluation order. We have 10 minutes to go. We had Netamure, Ignitia, Marksol, and one more remedy. What was that? There is a suggestion. Suggestion is itching. Okay, consolation is aggravating. Mind indignation. Okay, yes. Good. Any other rubrics? Why do we take mind in this case when patient has come with a purely physical problem and whereby mind is not an aggravation or amelioration for the complaint, mind is not a modality, mind is not the outcome. Again, we are going into the pieces, but we have to understand why are we considering mind. Because we have not considered mind at the disposition level, the tendency level. This person tends to be short-tempered, whereby mainly she is sensitive to hurts. She gets offended easily when she is not considered of any value. समझ रहे हो? ऐसे hypersensitive person में hypersensitive sickness is evolving. So there is a common soil, hypersensitive soil at mind and at the body. And in such person, this is happening. I'm just citing one example. Dr. Henneman said, even if symptoms are matching at the level of the dentition aggravation and loose tools, but if patient is quiet and calm, don't prescribe chamomilla. So dentition aggravation and green stools in the child who is inclined to be angry, and anger is described of particular type. So there is a connection. Disposition is a soil on which disease is evolving. So this disease in such soil, disease in the man or man in the disease. Hello. We still have 6 minutes to go. इसीलिए माइंड की रूब्रिक आप ऊपर ले रहे हो. कितने भी सिम्टम्स आप रिपोर्टराइज करोगे, but ultimately you are going to take the judgment based on the disposition and mind. That is why Boni Hussain said, even if mind is not very clear, specific in the case, or disposition is not defined, but never prescribe without mind and disposition taking into account. So group of the drugs, now when you are differentiating, at the end, at least you consider mind and disposition, because they are always of high importance. Don't ever compromise with mind and disposition. Don't ever prescribe giving away the mind and disposition out of the totality. So mind and disposition, when they are specified, they always go higher up. They give you group of the drugs. But if they are not specified, even then, don't compromise with them. 4 minutes are remaining. One attempt was made, taking every aspect of the case and repertorizing it. Desire for salt, aversion to sweet, desire chocolate, cold application ameliorates skin, thirstlessness, cold becoming aggravates nose, consolation, sympathy, aversion to, headache, hammering, or even consolation, aggravation can be taken. Head pain, noise aggravation, pressure aggravation, but binding head ameliorate. So Netromure, which was one of the remedies that was thought of. Nirubai, now how do we want to go about it? Is the Netromure next to Calcarea coming up? There was one more suggestion. There was Calcarea sulf. But Calcarea sulf skin is known to have itching better by warm, and this patient is itching better by cold application. Besides that, the disposition, hypersensitive disposition that we have defined at the level of mind and the body, its specificity is not matching with the sensitivity of Calcarea sulf. We can go into the detail. I am just giving you one example how we can study the case and the remedies. Somebody thought of sulfur also. So sulfur is this picture. There is no remedy which is covering all these symptoms. There is a gradation of the symptom, evaluation of the symptom. This plays important. And where does all this come in your totality? That is very important, essential thing.
Sir, the way we have we have synthesized with the central quality of the hypersensitivity. Now, if we make a hypersensitivity the central quality, then the sepia is most prominent hypersensitivity at the mind and body level, and which is very near to netrum also. But whether our conceptualization as a hypersensitivity is in a true sense, then we can make it. Otherwise, symptomatically, and the mental state of a lady and the thermals and the symptoms have, as a Materia Medica level, is more matching with the network.
You're right. It is not by any vague symptom. When we say hypersensitivity, that is from the facts and of the ground level. We have derived something to narrate, but we are not losing up its characteristics, its specificity. So we have to say there are so many hypersensitive drugs. Now, which hypersensitive drug has this specificity? And I said something more, that in earlier case of Dr. Boni Hussain, we said it is a rheumatic condition, the process. Here, what is the process? That we have yet not derived. Anyway, everything cannot be derived in one case. We can take up another cases, and when we take next case, we can always refer this case back and go on completing our thought process. This case responded very well to a remedy whereby patient went on sending pictures. And that showed that patient was definitely improving step by step. In March, she said that her itching was 60% better. Frequency was much less, whereas intensity was absolutely gone down. Itching earlier on entire body, now and for any time, even when she was cooking. But now it is only at the night. And lesions or discoloration is much lighter. Mentally, she is calmer, anger is reduced, mood swings at the time of menses, which is the additional feature which was not there in the original picture. So that is also better. Then on 5th, now here, menses was painful. And 5th April, skin on abdomen was 98% better. I will show you the pictures. 98% better. No itching, mild pigmentation. But in axilla, skin aggravated. And at the thigh, in between thighs, also it aggravated. Because now it was summer, much heat in the Gujarat, perspiration increased and itching to greater extent. But only in the folds, not otherwise which was there on the whole body. And menses was much better, painless, flow was good, and patient said, my hypersensitivity has reduced. I don't get offended so easily the way she used to. But in this summer, she has not taken diet in the proper way. Her blood sugar level increased to 241. Now the point is blood sugar level has increased, and in summer heat has increased. Skin has again started increasing, but not to that great extent the way it was covering the entire body. So this is the follow-up so far we have got, and she has promised to send the current photographs, but yet we have not received. ग्रुप कुछ कहना है? Still long way to go. Disposition started changing, but yet we have to see her desire and aversion, the change in that. Yet we have to see her sensitivity to catch cold and aggression of getting heat, because the summer heat is creating a problem. So now Krishna, I just suggest Dr. Krishna to share the photographs with the dates. Krishna, can you share the screen?
No, the PPT is in your laptop.
No, you share the screen. Is it possible?
I will try. Just a moment. Can you share those images from the presentation? The recent presentation has them.
I doubt.
So make her the co-host so that she can show the pictures from her mobile.
From?
Mobile. You can share from mobile there.
She can share from mobile. Krishna, you can share from mobile.
You have to make her the co-host.
Make her co-host. Okay.
If she has logged in through mobile.
Your mic is off. We can't hear you.
This is the first picture that she had sent of abdomen. You can see how dark and the margins. Okay, that you can visualize by yourself. This is 27-1. The way it was dark and black, that is reduced, and now we can see more of a reddish and inflamed. It has become clearer. Now we can see it has become absolutely pinkish with the skin seen normal. I'm sure you could appreciate the change that is coming up in the case.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you must have seen the name of the remedy. What was it?
Natrum sulf and natrum mure.
Natrum sulf it was given. So why not natrum mure and why natrum sulf? That is a point. Now, if you can go back to the case and look at retrospectively, and if you can give the reasoning next time. Natrum sulf was given in the 50 millisiemens scale every day. It was given 3 doses per week, every week. Hello, what happened? Speechless.
Yes, sir. We will have to read.
Sorry.
We will have to read that remedy.
Blood sugar level was down to 160 fasting. Blood sugar fasting. This is what I told about 4th March. Menses was aggravated. This is 5th April. And in between we can see the patches, normal patches of the skin. It has become thinned down. Lesions are thinned down, and only at the periphery it is active. This is the last one.
I have the recent one from 2 days ago. Can I share that?
Okay, sure, do that.
You'll have to make me co-host.
Yours is iPad.
Yes,
We had
yes.
Dr. Toral as co-host.
Okay, done.
This was the last that she sent 2 days back. Only at the margin we see activity of the ringworm. We know that it is very, very stubborn, especially it is when the part is wet in the moist area, the difficulty is more in the, she has to work still in front of the heating appliances. These areas are becoming clear. Here also area are becoming clear. Lot of areas, if you see a big page that is becoming clear. This page is yet to. Okay. So our next time we take up another case which will circulate in advance. And if we want to discuss natrum sulf from natrum mur, Merksol, Ignitia, calcareous sulf. Do we want to do that group?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next time we'll prepare our Mathematica and whatever we have discussed so far, role of disposition and its connection with the pathology and evolution and peculiarity of the disease and concomitants. Whatever we discussed, let us see whether we find the similar way in the Mathematica. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So how was today's session? Any immediate feedback? Fatafat bolo, we are already 16 minutes we have used more. हम 9:30 बजे शुरू करेंगे तो 11 बजे पूरा होगा. हम if you are late by 15-20 minutes over there, so here we have to pay more. Okay, what is the feedback about today's session? Was it worth? कुछ फायदा हुआ, सीखने मिला?
Yes, sir. Very informative.
Yes.
Today's session was very informative.
Your broadband or is not proper. Your voice is not clear. Okay. Meanwhile, somebody else can say, Kinjal.
Yes, sir. It was a good session. We understood that from like you should not consider or a common or characteristic based on the disease process which we have known till now, but it is based on the person's sensitivity rather than the disease. Like in tinea, we always consider that perspiration and itching are the common modalities, like from perspiration or heat. We should not consider that, and we should understand the sensitivity of the patient.
Okay. But that sensitivity you derive only from this particular data. Then only you can go to, that is what Dr. Kent has talked about, generals of the remedy. So the generals of the disease that we derive. And that is what is talked by Dr. Boni Hussain as well as Boger, both. Genius of the remedy. So genius of the disease. Okay, so very good. We have done 3 sessions so far. We can do the sessions much in a different manner also. तो हम जो अभी कर रहे हैं वो ठीक है, फायदा हो रहा है? You want to go ahead in the same way or different way? Hello. हम जो भी कर रहे हैं वो स्लो लग रहा है, लेकिन डेफिनेट बेस बन रहा है. ये एक बार हमने समझ लिया. So subsequent case will not be so much difficult. We don't need so much of the discussion.
Yes, sir.
फिर हम एक दिन में 2 केस भी कर सकते हैं। हाँ सोनीता जी बोलो।
हाँ सर, आपने बोला कि आई हैव टेकन दिस सिम्टमेटोलॉजी एंड रेपर्टाइज द केस। तो ये प्रॉपर जो सिम्टम्स लिए आपने, ये प्रॉपर है या देयर इज समथिंग डिफरेंट चार्ट?
डिफरेंट होना चाहिए।
नहीं, आपने
Here everything has been taken into account and it is
Yes,
little haphazard.
यस सर। तो यू हैव मेड अनदर रेपर्टरी चार्ट?
बन सकता है, हम बना सकते हैं।
जी।
This is what I have presented, the way the case was narrated, presented, and from that symptoms converted into the rubric and just we take it. But if we really follow the steps suggested by Dr. Hahnemann, that aphorism number 3, what is to be treated, aphorism number 5, focus on the cause, aphorism number 6, you consider every aspect to create the portrait, and then now you make the totality of symptom. Or in aphorism number 7. The first word in aphorism number 7 is now. After we have done up to 6 aphorism, now you do aphorism number 7. And then you proceed further.
Yes, sir.
वो हम नहीं करके, when we are only with the symptoms, or we just take them numerically, then we can have such kind of presentation.
Right, sir.
Dr. Phatak says we must treat qualitatively, not on quantitative totality. Means everybody has put across in the different words, that's all. ठीक है? Tomorrow is Eid. Our people from Pakistan is not contacted today. We wish everybody Eid Mubarak. If tomorrow is Eid, then we meet again next Saturday at 9:30. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And thank you all for keeping your promise for joining today on Monday, even though it is not Saturday. And through this discussion, it has added a lot in my understanding and knowledge. It has given me further depth. And I'm sure that such sessions also must have helped you to understand various aspects of the Hahnemannian fundamentals. These sessions are by students and for students about applying fundamentals of Hahnemann to evolve skill so that we are efficient in our prescription. Okay. So
Sir, this lecture, what you had taken it when we started Gurukul batch 1, and what we learned that time, and what we you repeated the same thing, and what we understand is far different. Like the understanding is better now. What you taught us that time, I couldn't grasp what you wanted to say, but this time it has become very clear.
yes. Why that is so? I said the same thing. But what happens, that is what I said. I understand, but I can't accept it. It requires a great thing to move from your position. And that happens with everybody. If I am holding certain ideas, I will prefer to hold on these ideas. Then we apply. So now here you applied to the case. There at that time also you are applied in various cases. You are presented cases. But there were always some reservations. But now we become little more flexible when we are doing it.
Sir, there is the difference of understanding. Like what we learned, what we applied, and what you are teaching according to Hahnemann, and understanding and applying, and just applying. These are two different things. So now it's better understood.
Yeah, so we are thankful to the students who arranged such sessions and gave us opportunity to meet again.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so thank you, Ayushi and Kinjal. Also, thanks to Manali for interactive session. And Kinjal, superb. Continue doing. Always express yourself. And never forget, it is not the quantity. How many people are there doesn't matter. Those who are there, what are they contributing? That is what is important. Okay. So now we meet on next Saturday and we'll circulate one case. Right, Kinjal? Ayushi?
Yes, sir.
So यहाँ पे विराम करें.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Good night to all.